This is the future.
Digital Extremes have revealed their next Tennocon will be on July 17th this year, and like the previous years wherein they reveal the Heart of Deimos update, it will be digital, and mostly, we will get to view stuff in the game just like how they present Deimos stuff in the relays in Tennocon 2020. But the biggest question right now is not how they will present. It's not how they do it that matters, but what our content they will be revealing during that digital event. We all know that they will talk about a bunch of stuff like future skins, Warframe'S, weapons, and other planned content that we will see in the future. This will also tell us how much content is there for us to enjoy after this year's big update. But the biggest reveal is, what would be the big update for this year? Before we continue, I would humbly ask that you join in the discussion right after watching this video. Just share your thoughts in the pinned comment below, as I'm very curious to hear what you have in mind about what I'm about to share in this video. There are two candidates for the big Warframe update for 2021. One is Chapter 4 of the new war, and the other one is the Duviri Paradox. Okay, before you comment, I know that Digital Extremes have said that they will not be adding Duviri Paradox in 2021 as what they have replied in the official subreddit when someone asked about when will this update coming. But honestly, there's a very strong hint in the game that the developer is working with Duviri Paradox, which we will discuss later. For now, let us talk about the new war if it happens. So, we got 3 chapters in the story quest of the new war update. For those who did not realize, the new war has begun when they dropped the Chimera prologue, then it continued with the Jovian Concord update, and in fact, they continued it with the Rising Tide wherein we got our first railjack. Then they dropped the Era quest along the line which introduced us to Lotus Brother. Then, we got an Operation Scarlet Spear which marks the start of the invasion of sentience. The third unnamed cinematic did hint us that Lotus is still and many believed that we can still save her. And the last 2 updates of the new war were the Deadlock Protocol which introduces Parvos Granum and Prutea, and lastly, Operation Orphex Venom which is basically like Scarlet Spear, but this time around, we got to use relics of the old war called Corn Bots. What we are looking forward to is the chapter wherein we take the fight to the Sentients. In all of the new war updates, the Sentients are invading and we are just being introduced to the villains of the story. The next chapter is kind of exciting since we will most probably be invading the Sentient in their home and might take back Lotus from them. This chapter will be the time that the Tenno will act in full offensive mode. Most of us are excited about the new war this year because of a few reasons. Others already missed the Lotus and want her back, while others want to kill her. Other players want to fight the Sentients, while others want another awesome story quests which Warframe is capable of doing. Others are tired of open worlds, and they were relieved that Digital Extremes are not working with Duviri Paradox this year. They just don't want another content island, and I believed that it would be a good choice if the developer will drop the new war update right now, since it will be a breath of fresh air for players, especially if they will add that speculated Tau system. For those who don't know, rumors are circulating in the community of the Sentient Home being the Tau system, which will a whole new start chart for Sentients. Right now, we got the normal start chart, then the Steel Path version, the Proxima start chart, and possibly, the developer will add another one exclusive for the Sentients when the new war update comes. It would be a good choice as most players are not having fun with the copy-paste content island that Digital Extremes are releasing in the game. Well, credits to them for addressing their mistakes and making the Deimos open world a good open world, especially with its faction reward system wherein you see a good structure of progression compared to the planes of Eidolon and Orb Valis, that each vendor has no connection and players must farm an X amount of this tokens for vendor A, then they will also need to farm an X amount of tokens for vendor B. Deimos has the same structure, but it's connected by Grandmama. It's good, but I was hoping that the update has more stuff to do. Well, we can't blame them because the pandemic happens. In fact, if there wasn't any virus, then we could have seen one of us flying in space in real life. Remember that giveaway of Digital Extremes that promises one winner to go to outer space? That could be dope, but the pandemic changed it all. This leads me to believe that they could not be working on the new war update right now. First of all, the next chapter of the new war should be grandiose and could somehow be the climax that leads to the final battle of the Tenno against Sentients. We are talking not just Sentients here, but also we might see other factions in this fight. We could end up seeing Hun Hao and his stalkers in this new war chapter. While I love to see the new war, but I'm having second thoughts right now and I think we will just be getting the Duviri Paradox instead. And yes, It's another open world, but this time, we get to see the Orokin faction in the spotlight. Why do I say this? Well, there is already evidence in the game that proves we will be getting Duviri Paradox this year. First of all, is the addition of Void Storms. I don't know if you have seen the very first trailer of Duviri Paradox, but before the trailer is shown, the operator was piloting the railjack and then hit by a void surge and forced to end transference, being pulled out of their Warframe. Then the screen fades black. That void surge resembles the void storms that we have at the moment, and knowing that these void storms can create malfunctions, I believe that this will be the reason why we get pulled into the paradox. If you can also recall, in a Twitch stream, Steve hinted that the Duviri Paradox name comes from the Twin Paradox, which is a thought experiment about a paradox caused by time dilation in special relativity. This might mean that void storms will cause the time dilation wherein we travel into the void that is the new open world, Duviri. If that is not enough, then try to do Void Storm missions in Vale Proxima, and you will see those snake Orokin creatures flying in the right corner of your screen. There is also a possibility that the developer is setting up these creatures to cause interference. They might be the one to attack our railjack during one of our void jump that will cause the interference and we end up in the plains of Duviri. Okay, I know some of you are a bit disappointed, but take note that these are just educated guesses. I may present strong evidence, but these are not yet confirmed. Also, if we get the Duviri Paradox update this year, then it will be a good update since we will get to know more about the Orokin people, and possibly, we could end up using adult operators. I'm just hoping that there will be more to this update compared to the Heart of Deimos update. The most interesting part of the Deimos update for me is the Helminth system, and I used it even right now. I'm just hoping that the Duviri Paradox update will have more content that we can use in longer periods. I'm excited for the lore of the update, and as well as some background story of the Orokin. Most probably, there will be new guns, melee weapons, and other Orokin technology that will be added to the game. Void damage will most probably the main concept of this update for the weaponry, and honestly, I have a strong gut feel that the Warframe they will reveal in DevStream 154 will be related to the next update. If you see a hint of any void damage, or void theme in the frame, then that is another evidence that we will be getting the Duviri Paradox update instead of the next chapter of the new war. Honestly, I think that Digital Extremes should release the next chapter of the new war, but I don't mind them doing the Duviri Paradox first. I'm also hoping for a new feature in the game like Helminth system, but not the Helminth system, if you know what I mean. Something that we could use in the long run and make us say that, hey, this was added during the Duviri Paradox. Something that we can enjoy from the update, and not just things that we just put in our mastery rank fodder cabinet after playing with it for a while. What about you? What are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments section what are your thoughts about the big reveal of Tennocon 2021. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
Evolution. This is the future.